Looking at it from a distance, it looks like a battleship in the sea. But in reality, it is a small city that has been completely destroyed today. At one time, more than 5,000 people lived on this small island. And it was not only the city of Japan, but also the city with the largest population in the world. There were apartments here whose concrete has now rotted. People's belongings are still present in them. It seems that the people who live here have left everything and run away from here. There were schools here where the voices of children used to echo. Hospitals, town halls, swimming pools, shops and cinemas were all the facilities that should be in a city. But today, this whole island, this whole city presents the face of a deserted ghost town. But why? Why doesn't any of the thousands of people who live here today? What happened here that Japan kept tourists from going to this island for 35 years? Welcome back to Facts Lab videos. Viewers, this island is called Hashima, which is located 15 kilometers from Nagasaki, Japan, in the South China Sea. Because this island looks like a battleship, that's why it's also called a battleship island. There are about 500 islands in this part of the sea that have no population. But Hashima's story is quite different from them. If you look at it, the other islands are very green, but Hashima Island is a very large stone rising from the sea, where there is almost no plantation. Hashima Island played a very important role in boosting Japan's economy in its time. And its most important thing was coal mining. In the history of the last 150 years, 1.65 million tons of coal were mined from the bottom of the sea near this island. Today, so much coal can produce electricity to the whole of India for a month and to Pakistan for 10 months. In the 1800s, people living on Tokushima Island, a little far from Hashima, found coal scattered on the ground. At first, they didn't know its speciality, but then a man named Gohita accidentally found out about its heating properties. After that day, the people of Tokushima Island started collecting the coal scattered on the ground, which they used to keep their homes warm. Soon after, in 1850, Nagasaki had become an international shipping port. Between America and China, it was a stopover port where international cargo sailing ships stopped. Western countries, i.e., Great Britain and the USA, were replacing their sailing ships with steam engines, which needed only one thing to run, and that was coal. When those ships had to stop at the Nagasaki port, they needed coal for refueling. And this coal was scattered on Tokushima Island, a little far from Nagasaki. When the demand for coal increased, the people of the island started taking it out of the ground to sell it. As soon as they saw it, the coal ran out from the surface of Tokushima. That's when they headed for the nearby islands, including Hashima, which had a lot of coal. At that time, old-school methods were used to extract coal, mostly using hands. Now, hands were not enough to meet increasing coal demands. That's why Mitsubishi bought Hashima Island in the 19th century. At that time, Mitsubishi was a shipping company that decided to start proper coal mining on Hashima Island. Mitsubishi built a house for the workers here and also built a sea wall to protect the entire island from sea waves. That's why today this island looks like a ship. In 1916, 3,000 workers lived here, who extracted 150 tons of coal from the ground a year. Due to the small size of Hashima Island, there was very little space to live here. Therefore, Mitsubishi built a concrete residential complex here so that as many workers as possible could live here with their families. It used to be Japan's largest concrete building at that time, but it was still too small for the workers to live. After that, the number of workers on Hashima Island increased and Mitsubishi also built new complexes here. In addition, schools and entertainment centers for the children of the workers were also built. In 1941, coal production on Hashima Island reached 10,000 tons annually, which was increasing day by day. In 1959, the total population of the island was 5,200. Now let's see, the total area of the island is only 15.5 acres. If we do simple math, there were 335 people living here in an acre. Such a dense population has never been found in any country in the world. Assume that China's population density today is 84 people per acre. According to him, there were 335 people living in an acre in Hashima at that time. The workers who lived here say that one room was shared by 3 workers. But there was only room for 2 workers to sleep. And the 3rd worker had to sleep in the cupboard. If we talk about the mine, it was dug 1 kilometer below Hashima Island, where the temperature was 35 degrees Celsius and the humidity was 95%. In these harsh conditions, the work of the workers was not free of any danger. Many workers have lost their lives while working on the coal mine of Hashima Island. Even during World War II and before that, Chinese and Korean prisoners were forced to work on the mine, for which the whole world still criticizes Japan. That's why after World War II, when the Japanese Empire was overthrown, Japan built many facilities for workers on Hashima Island to improve its impression, such as cinemas, gymnasiums, high schools, and entertainment centers. All these facilities were kept absolutely free for the workers. But for this, the workers had to work in the maintenance of the island. Fresh drinking water was brought from mainland Japan. But later, water lines were laid in the sea, which connected to mainland Japan. In the 1960s, Hashima Island was at its peak, and the Japanese economy was getting a lot of benefit from it. But this was the time when the downfall of coal engines began in the world. Coal was considered harmful to the environment and oil began to replace coal. Because of this, coal demand in the international market also began to decrease. And slowly, coal mines began to close. Mining on Hashima Island was already very difficult, because it was cut off from the mainland and tsunami and sea storms often came to the South China Sea. Mitsubishi had built a protection wall around the island. But because of these storms, this wall often broke. Because of this, there was extra expense on its repair. Because of all these difficulties, Hashima coal mine was no longer profitable. In the 1970s, Mitsubishi removed 2,000 workers or adjusted them to other facilities. And then finally, on January 15, 1974, the company officially closed the Hashima coal mine. Thousands of workers without jobs and jobs left Hashima Island overnight. In the history of Hashima Island, a whole generation of humans grew up here. But all those memories had to leave them here. Today, Hashima presents a forgotten wrecked island in the South China Sea. For many years, the Japanese government had sealed this island, and those who violated it were severely punished. Many people said that Japan wanted to hide the real facts of forced labor camps from the world. But Japan said that they had made this rule to prevent theft on the island. Hashima was rediscovered in the 21st century, and it became quite famous in the form of a ghost town, especially those who were fond of seeing ghost towns or ruins. In 2005, Japan officially opened Hashima Island for tourists. Officials tried to repair the buildings here many times, but because their reinforced concrete has rotted a lot, and due to harsh weather conditions, it is not possible to work. Many buildings have fallen here due to typhoons, and other buildings are close to falling. Only a small part of the island has been repaired, and tourists are also allowed to go here. The location of this ghost town also attracts filmmakers. The 2009 Life After People TV series was shot here. In 2011, many thriller scenes of James Bond's Skyfall were shot on Hashima Island. In 2009, Japan requested to put Hashima Island on the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But South Korea, North Korea, and the Chinese government opposed it. They said that it is a game with the feelings of those who survived. People who were brought here forcefully and made to work in the mine. In the end, the compromise between them was that Japan would accept forced labor here in the 1940s. And forced labor will also be mentioned in the history of the heritage site. I hope you will like and share this video of Facts Lab. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.